Hey there again, guys. This is probably going to feel like a little bit of deja vu, but we have a box today, a little tiny box, and I'm excited about what's inside of it. I know, I said that before when we looked at the Shockwave Labs SL-51. Well, this time it's going to be Shockwave Labs SL-52. And it's going to be our focus in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. I'm so glad that you're here. Check out Machinery Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors, NL, and me everywhere. And while you're at it, please like, comment, share. Of course, subscribe. And while you're at it, that's right, hit the bell for notifications, please, and thank you. And this little box here came from Uncle Billy's shop, and it is the Shockwave Labs SL-52, and it's the I guess calf fillers for the Transformers Legends Dai Atlas, who had very, very hollow lower legs. I like it. It's simple, but it's really effective at doing what it's intended to do. But don't take my word for it. Let's head over to the table and see how well this integrates. And so our sense of deja vu continues here as I have another little box, bigger than the last one I looked at when we covered the Shockwave Labs SL-51 for Siege Soundwave. This time it is Shockwave Labs SL-52. And when we open this box, we have another little bag inside, and there were, though there's only one here now, there were two pieces. These are the fillers for the back of the legs of the Legends Dai Atlas. And in fact, here are the legs of that figure. This is, of course, a back view, just so that I can show that without the piece added, he had, and I guess has, a super duper deep knee bend. So how does adding this piece affect that knee bend? Not a whole lot. It's obviously not quite as super duper deep, but it's still a little over 90 degrees. You know, here's the thing. Would you prefer a leg that looks like this, where we have, you know, a full thigh in the front of a shin and his foot, or would you prefer a leg that looks like this? I guess it boils down to personal choice. The piece itself looks like this. It's nicely molded. It has a port here. It has a port here. It is mostly just hollow. We do have a peg up here. This peg is very important. We have a hole and a peg here because the two leg pieces can attach. It's not a feature I'm going to use, but you can do it. And we do have what looks like, I guess, maybe missile pods molded in the front. So when we go to attach this leg piece in robot mode, we're going to use that peg that I pointed out, and it is going to go slotted into the hole that is kind of deep in this corner. And that's mostly what holds it on. It's not the whole thing, but it's the bulk of it. That goes in there, and then you make sure that the little tab is fitted behind the treads, although that time the tab just sort of went behind the treads. And this is what you have in the end. And of course, when you pose the lad now, he looks fine with full and complete legs. But of course, this is only one of his modes. What do you do with these things in the other modes? Because, as we all know, the legs do fold up. Now, in stock pictures, the hinge that connects the top of the body and the bottom of the body was, I don't know, it caught, unhinged, removed, whatever. I'm not brave enough to do that. I'm not willing to do that. But if you do that, then you could, just like with Sky Shadow and Overlord, you could now turn these pieces of the leg out and tab the legs together, and it would form like a tank section on top. So, because I'm not doing that, what will I do with these pieces? Well, color me shocked. Yes, I know what I just said. I'm not going to pop that waist joint. But guess what? folks. You absolutely can pop that waist joint because it's actually on a mushroom peg. You didn't have to pop any pins or anything. It's just a mushroom peg. And for the record, the blue, as you can see here, is a pretty close match. Not absolutely perfect. These pieces are a little bit darker, but it's pretty close, man. Also, when I say mushroom peg, I mean I popped it out of just right there. Very, very simple. I don't know, is it just me that thinks this absolutely rocks? And of course, if you don't want to have him in two sections and two different pieces, and that's perfectly understandable, though I do think it's really cool that it's such an easy thing to accomplish, and I didn't know before, you can always do something like this and like put them kind of underneath his wings potentially. You know, maybe this looks more accurate to zone. I don't know, but like there's an option. I'm sure there's probably others, but that's one. Maybe something sort of like this, potentially for his land mode. Again, there are other options, I'm sure. I mean, like maybe you could do this. I don't know. Is that cool? It certainly looks a lot more like a land-based vehicle now. What can you do with them in base mode? Well, maybe something like this. Or something like this, maybe? How about simply hiding them on the back? So at the end of the day, what do I think of this set? Well, in terms of the paint apps, 9. It's really close to the actual color. In terms of articulation, it doesn't really have anything because it's just extra pieces. It doesn't hinder articulation. It doesn't add to articulation. Not applicable. And last but not least, what about transformation? Well, again, they are definitely parts forming pieces, but they did, if absolutely nothing else, point out the fact that you can separate him into two pieces and have a separate plane and a separate tank, and they do kind of give him a section to create its own self-contained tank. So I'm going to say 10 for transformation, man. They're every bit as good, as weaponizer pieces from the Siege line. I dig it. It's a set worth having. Again, if you have Legends Dai Atlas, do you really need these pieces? No, you don't. He's fine enough the way he is. Not perfect, but fine. That being said, if the kind of hollow legs really bother you, and they didn't bother me. Usually hollowness doesn't bother me too much, but it did sort of bother me here. If it bothers you as well, this is definitely kind of a cheap, effective, well-toleranced little fix that I absolutely think is worth getting. And here we are once again, and this time, Dai Atlas did not miss leg day at the gym. Yes, the blue is ever so slightly off of the blue plastic color, but it's about as close and as perfect of a match as you're gonna find, I think. It's made of nice, durable plastic. It feels pretty solid. The pieces are hollow in and of themselves, but they don't feel hollow, like they still feel kind of chunky. They can integrate in all modes. There's a couple of holes here. There's holes on the inside of the leg. There's pegs. Well, a peg. I almost feel like that these pieces are like weaponizer parts. Like you can attach other figures and stuff to them in different modes if you're so inclined by way of either the pegs or the holes. There's a lot of combinations. Granted, I showed a couple of options. I'm sure that there are more for those of you who are creatively minded. Either way, it kind of helps to complete the look of the figure because now he has proper legs. Sometimes it's the simplest things in life that can make you the most happy. Anyway, I'm happy with this guy. I just sort of wish now that the shoulders had, a better range of motion out and were a bit stronger. But, I guess life can't be perfect all the time. I'm going to say, again, thanks for giving me some of your very valuable time. I know how important it is to you, man. I do. I know how important it is. Please, if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, feel free to donate. There is a link down in the description. And as always, I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.